I think I got this thing on. Can y'all let me know, please? I'm trying to watch the chat here and also the this handy phone here. I think I got it going okay. These iPhones are complicated, son. Give me just a second. There's always a lag. I don't know why. My 5x5, everybody. What's up, Dukes of Prepper County? What's up? Thank you, Mames, Nana. If y'all see me sweating, it is because I'm in the back of the house and it feels like I am working on the chain gang back here, son. It's hot. The air conditioner's on in the next room. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm trying to scoot up to this thing as much as I can. I feel like I'm at a elementary school, the kids' desk. So welcome to Shotgun Saturday night. A lot of new faces here at the Nation. God bless y'all for being here, all of you. Feel free to say hello to people here at the Nation. Most of them do not bite. I cannot vouch for Odin's, and Forrest, if he's in the house, I cannot vouch for him. Other than that, I think we're good to go here. This is just a weekly live stream that we do. It's very informal. We're just having a chat. And again, I'm going cross-eyed because I'm trying to look at y'all and also look at the chat here. What's up, CC? Tiny Titan is in the house. I nibble. Nana says she nibbles. Well, I don't know nothing about that. V-Prep, how are you doing? Dave, how are you? Liz, hopefully you are feeling better, Liz. I know you've been on the mend. Sunblock John. Well, they Oklahoma, they recalling some of the sunblock I saw. Two of the different brands, they said there was something that causes cancer in them. Yeah, there's Odin's. Flow Grown. True American Loretta. So let's kick this off here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try and switch it up a little bit tonight. I do have notes, but what I'm going to do, it's just got a topic. There's nothing else. I'm going to freestyle it, and we're going to go with what the chat has to say. The folks over on Patreon submitted a bunch of questions and things and topics for us to talk about. Aaron, thank you very much for watching. He sent a message earlier, USA Prepping. I appreciate you watching, brother. Joanne, how you doing? Big Red. East Kentucky. Robin Green, how you doing, man? So the top story, let's start with the top story on CNN, at least when I was getting all of this stuff set up. Man, I am sweating back here. Say goodbye to your carefree summer. Have y'all seen this? The mandates are going to be returning. Erica, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. Arlene, how you doing, ma'am? Chuck Norris is in the house. Uh-oh. Say goodbye to your carefree summer. Mandates are going to be returning and possibly lockdowns 2.0. Ray Charles could have seen this coming, son. Hopefully y'all are prepared for it, but I would love your input here in the chat on more mandates, more lockdowns, etc. Hello, Luce. And do you folks, somebody, Crazy Hen, I got you. I'm right there with you. Do you think the economy can sustain another series of lockdowns? Because I do not. Sin says, do not comply. Wine sipper all the way in Guam, huh? And I'm sitting here complaining about the heat. I'm sure you got it worse than I got it. Nick, it is popping, son. It's popping. Oh, yeah, Trish, we're going to talk about those Democrats in Texas. I got that all queued up. I do, too. Tennessee Tactical says, I see lockdowns coming by fall before school starts. I do, too. We were talking about this earlier this week. I think it's going to be the hill that they're willing to die on politically. And I think that they are going to slam us or try and slam us back into lockdown or compliance. Greg Bryson, thank you for that super chat, sir. Really quickly, I do appreciate the super chats, but number one, I would rather you guys use the money prepping. Number two, this is not a channel where you have to super chat in order for me to, cover the question. It's just a matter of this old man seeing the question in the chat. Sometimes it does fly. So, Patriot Allen, get yourself a new fan, John. Thank you, Patriot Allen. If I was running a fan back here, though, you wouldn't be able to hear me on the phone. I need to get a microphone for this thing, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, the air is on in the other room, but man, it's like 90 degrees outside still. Colleen says no lockdown. I'm hoping. I'm good myself with being locked down. I got everything I need, but the economy, I don't think can handle another lockdown. Arkansas Living is in the house. If you have any tech questions about anything, game systems, the internet in general, Arkansas Living is the man to talk to. His email is open 24/7. I'm just kidding. Do not blow this man's email up. How you doing, Arkansas? Dave, you could be correct on that. It's one of those things where I believe it's a controlled demolition to a degree. So it's going to implode whenever they want it to implode. The Kung Fu Prepper. Hey, brother, how you doing? Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris says the economy cannot handle another hit like that. And if Chuck Norris says it, by God, it's the truth. Native, how are you doing, brother? Good stream, Native. I only caught the second half of it. What happened was I alerted myself, like I clicked the little bell or whatever, because of the thumbnail art. Thumbnail art was cool, man. And then I sat out on the front porch with my wife and forgot it until halfway through, and I rushed in. But it was a really good live stream. Folks, if you're not subscribed to Native and Devout here on YouTube, or Arkansas Living, or Mame's Legacy, she's up in here and she has a channel and it's pretty cool too. Check them out. Somebody tell Native to go home. Come on now. My favorite, Native, my favorite videos of yours, though, I got to be honest, is when you're in the work van. Those are just like raw, man. I like them. Big German's in the house. Native. We still doing that Arkansas don't know stuff? Aaron, that's a very good question. I think America as we know it has an expiration date. It's just a matter of what comes next. I think people that want communism are out. This is my personal opinion. I think they're outside of the country. They're international players. They're trying to upend the country. At the same time, I think you have a lot of wealthy bankers and Wall Street types here in this country and CEOs that don't want to see capitalism go away. And so that's the struggle we're seeing right now. And who knows, how many people in politics are compromised, you know what I mean? I can guarantee a few. Keep on stacking. There you go, Bull Moose. Good evening, the Endless Prepper. Yeah, Native. I like the thumbnail a lot, man. It caught my attention when I was scrolling through, the subscriptions I have. You need to have a talk with Arkansas, man. Get him to replace that hat with something else. I'm just messing with you, Arkansas. So, getting to this, somebody mentioned this a minute ago, and I had it written down. This week, OFC Nation, how are you doing, brother? Another good channel. A plane full of Patrick Henrys bolted from Texas this week and made their way to DC. Did y'all see that? All of these selfies, the group selfies, and the bonding moments they were having as they faced total war and oppression on the the chartered plane to DC. Thank you, M. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that last name because I will get it wrong. I promise you. But welcome. Aaron said it's pathetic. Yeah, they made it out to be, I think they referred to themselves as Washington. You know what I mean? when he was a war hero, crossing the Delaware. And now 3 or 4 of them, I think, have tested positive. So there you go. Kirk, welcome. As I was telling everybody, yeah, 3 of them, Independent Marine, thank you. Kirk, as I was telling everybody, if you're new here, it's just very informal on Saturdays. We're just chatting. I used to do it in the mornings, but we switched to the evenings a long time ago. Yeah, then some got the Rona. Well, the thing is, Oklahoma, they may have already had it when they were on the plane. They were packed in like sardines taking their selfies. Now who knows who has it? Karma, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not in Texas, so I really can't speak like I'm in Texas, but I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody that's in Texas, a taxpayer. And it would irk me to see lawmakers bolt on the state. It's a publicity stunt and go to DC. And you know what I mean? You're not going to get anything done in DC. They don't do anything in DC. These folks belong in DC. They don't represent Texas. And again, that's just opinion. If you're fans of these folks, I'm sorry. I'm not the kind of guy that's trying to offend anybody, but that's just how I see it. Farmer Son Prepping, what's up? Yeah, they had a case of light beer. They did, Native. I saw somebody put a meme out a while ago. I'm trying not to shake the camera here. And it was like one of those old mouse traps, the box with the rope, and somebody had some Miller Lite underneath it. In Texas, one of the lawmakers in Texas set that up. They're trying to lure them back so they can arrest them. They should be fired, Peaceful Warrior. You're exactly right. Dereliction of duty. You know, you don't have to like the outcome of a vote, but you still need to do your job. The folks on the other side of the aisle are expected to do their job, right? Hey, Melissa, how are you? So I just thought that was just a big old cluster. Y'all know what I mean on that. Ridiculous. Sandra, you're exactly right. She said they're acting like civil rights heroes. There is a huge difference, in my opinion. The folks that fought for civil rights, that should have happened. That was a long time coming. This, on the other hand, they are literally fighting for the right for people to vote without being ID'd, which to me is stupid. Analogy time, I guess. Think of it like this. You folks, most of you have a home or something, right? So you have bills every month. Y'all know how the bills work and everything. They suck, right? So what are you going to do if somebody just moves into your house? They're not paying any of the bills, but they're trying to tell you how to spend all the money. They're trying to make the rules at your house, even though they're not paying anything. They're not even supposed to be there. You know what I mean? They're squatting. So even on a basic level, like if you've snuck into the country, Texas or otherwise, and you're not supposed to be here, you're probably not paying taxes. If you're not paying taxes, but you're sending your kids to public school first and foremost, that's wrong, because you're robbing the kids of a good education, overloaded classrooms and things. And then you can get into benefits and health insurance and everything. And I'm not saying this because I'm heartless. I'm saying if you're going to be here, do it the right way and then pay taxes, 300 is in the house. They had to show ID to board the plane. That is a very good, let me see here. Bull Moose. That's a very good point. I had not actually thought about that. No vote, no pay. Axel, bro, there you go. That's how you deal with it. So have y'all seen the mess going on once again, and I know opinions are going to vary on this, on the Black Rifle Coffee Company? Did y'all see that article this week in the New York Times? They are trying to distance themselves from Trump supporters, from the incident. I have to be careful what I say here. The incident that involved Kyle, who is on trial. You guys hopefully know who I'm talking about. Hey, Dusty. And they're trying to ride both sides of the fence, if that makes sense, okay? So on one hand, they're trying to present themselves to the public as a conservative company, but then they're in the New York Times trying to distance themselves because I think they're going woke, to be honest with you. You can pull the New York Times deal up, but they had made a comment that Trump supporters need to be flushed down the toilet. And I'm like, can we not just have a coffee company that's not involved in politics? You know, because Starbucks is terrible. I mean, they're ultra left. I was with Black Rifle for a while. I was buying their stuff. You long timers know this. I actually got rid of all of it, including one of my favorite coffee mugs, just because they can't stick to making coffee. And it is ridiculous. And that's the thing, Nana. Nana says, "Go woke, go broke." Exactly. I don't understand why they can't just make coffee. They had the perfect setup. You know, I respected the company because they employ veterans. They're founded by veterans, which is awesome. You know, they open carry. I've been in several of the stores. They open carry when they're sitting there making your coffee. They had it great. They didn't have to get ultra political. Okay, so if you're a conservative company, first and foremost, why are you in the New York Times doing an interview? That is like the worst newspaper probably here in the United States for conservatives. So I don't understand what they're trying to do here, you know? There's got to be other coffee companies. Right now I'm drinking Death Wish, you know, at least I'm buying their stuff. They should, Bob. And they were there, but now it seems like they are embarrassed that they were there. You know what I mean? Brian Keith Prepper, what's up, man? So I don't know. Maybe if you know of a coffee company, like an independent coffee company that's not ultra liberal or even political for that matter, if you can drop it in the chat. Yeah, Oklahoma, exactly. I believe that they have sold out. Again, they had it made. You know, all you had to do was be quiet about politics and be who you were and make good coffee, because the coffee's actually really good. But now they got to parade around and they've got to distance themselves. We've seen this with other companies too. They're just going woke, man. And I don't know, it just makes me sick. It really does. From Aldi, I'll have to check theirs out. Airborne, I've actually not ever bought coffee from Aldi. I bought a lot of other stuff for prepping. Invader, Kevin, I've had Invader, and it's really good coffee. I think it's in Texas, right? The Invader coffee. I believe it's in Texas, and it's also veteran owned. The Endless Prepper says Blackout Coffee Company. Never heard of them, but I will check them out. Folgers Crystals. Greg, I'm not above drinking Folgers, man. I've drank some really bad coffee. Probably the worst, other than just straight out store brand, would, for me anyway, is JFG. I had that some back in my 20s when I was uber poor and was glad to have it. Yeah, I've got a couple bags, I think, of Invader coffee, and it's, so far it's good. We took it camping a while back. Death Wish, yeah. I've got a bunch of Death Wish here, and some of their mugs and stuff. And hopefully they don't go woke, you know what I mean? So did you folks see all of the chaos in Los Angeles this afternoon? It may still be going on, I don't know. Maria, that is good coffee. I think it's pronounced Bustelo, but I don't want to get that wrong. I do have a little bit of it here, and it is good. That good old MRE coffee. Well, flow grown, I don't know. I mean, I've actually had worse from, you know, a store counter than that, but it's pretty low down. It's strong. It does the trick. OFC, yeah, man, we need to start our own coffee company. You know, we really do, man. I don't know what's involved in that, but come on, dude. I'll support the far right. I don't care. So in Los Angeles, they were having, I don't even know what they were protesting, something to do with trans rights or something. And there was maybe one or two far right groups there. And then BLM showed up to counter protest. And then the LAPD. No, Charles, I'm not ripping people off at the K-bar. The winner's in here. Hopefully he got his knife. I haven't heard from him. But yeah, so BLM and Tifa, they showed up to counter protest, and the LAPD had to deploy non-lethal stuff. And who knows? It could still be going on. I haven't checked the news the last 45 minutes. About 45 minutes ago, it was still going on. It was all over. They're not talking about it on Fox or CNN, but they're talking about it on Twitter, live streaming and stuff. But I don't know. Who knows, right? Tifa may have had some fireworks left over from the 4th of July. They may have picked them up on clearance afterwards. I don't know. We should have set all of the fireworks off on the 4th, y'all, just so Tifa and company can't buy up any, you know? Chock full of nuts. I've had that, 5 Virgins, and it's pretty good. Pretty good. See, it's hard for me because my wife, Miss Nation, she doesn't drink coffee. She drinks cold sweet tea. That's her thing. So Axelbrod, we have mugs. I think last time I checked we did. Anyway, they look like this. I just normally don't use it. It's not as big as the ones I normally use, but we have them. I Spy, how are you doing? So what I wanted to do real quick before we get into Patreon's questions is I want to do the social media rundown. Y'all know, well, the newbies may not know this, but what we do is we have various social media, like MeWe, we have Telegram, we have Facebook, and I spy on them during the week. And then I report what they're talking about, okay? So if anybody on our Facebook, Nana, I know you're on there. If anybody from our Facebook is in here, raise your hand or say hi or something. They have been talking about gas prices that are soaring as of late. Has anybody seen an increase in gas prices? I could not believe some of the pictures they were posting over there and the prices. Here it is $2.97 for the cheap stuff, which is what I use. But some people were out on the West Coast and they were like $4.95 a gallon and stuff like that. Bryce, every Saturday night we are all over the place. There's no one set topic here. Right now we're talking about gas prices. $4.72. Okay, Guam. Okay. I was going to say the highest one I think I saw on Facebook was 480 something or 490 something. I don't remember. It was ridiculous. It was just a shade under $5. Have you folks seen a recent Dukes of Prepper County? That's pretty high. Have you guys seen a recent increase like within the last week? It's jumped here 20 cents, I think, a gallon. I will say I haven't seen any bags on pumps lately, but probably because people can't afford to fill up anymore. 10 cents. My wife actually pointed this out. I can't believe it, right? But she's been paying attention to the gas prices. She said, I think I know what they're doing. And it's true. This is what they do, right? Every summer, they'll jack the prices way up and people will complain. And then they'll drop them down 20 or 30 cents, you know? And people will be like, thank God the gas prices are coming back down, you know? Even though it's still at $1.50 more than it was at the beginning of the summer. Every summer. Kind of fishy, isn't it? $2.99 Jen Lynn. That's about what it is here, roughly. 30 cents, Kevin, in a week. Hey, Mad Max, how are you? So they were also talking about, they were posting pictures and things of China Marts running low on stock, like on I think it was meats and produce. They were posting pictures. It looked like something on The Walking Dead. And so if you folks have noticed anything like that in your local grocery stores, I went to a grocery store today. The only thing I saw that was low was dairy, but everything was really high priced. But I haven't been to China Mart in a couple of days, so. And again, folks, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to follow the chat. Full here for now. And finally, over on Facebook, they were talking about my beloved blazer. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Homestead Homeboy, thank you for that. John, $2.69 in Elkin, brother. That's cheaper, a little bit cheaper than it is here. Probably 20 cents. But I'd burn that off going to Elkin and back, unless I was taking a lot of containers with me. They were talking about my beloved blazer, which is going to make no sense unless you're over on the History Channel. My blazer is missing still. I haven't found it. For the monsters that took my blazer, let me just tell you something right now. All we want, I ain't gonna press charges. We just want the blazer back. We want it back home safely. You know what I mean? But no, I accused my wife, maybe prematurely, because she was like, that's what I thought. I thought she threw it out. But she was like, son, I ain't throw your blazer out. I don't care about that ratty thing. And I think she's telling me the truth. I don't know what happened to it. So I'm going to continue to look. I did put the bird in her ear. We went to the Goodwill this past week, and I found a ridiculous looking lime green blazer in my size. I mean, this thing is hideous. It looks like something from a Corona beer commercial or something, you know? And so, I don't know, maybe she's got pity on me and she'll pick that up for me or something. But they posted like a wanted poster or something over on Facebook. And I didn't see it, she did. And she came through the house and she's like, are you accusing me of throwing your blazer away? And I was like, did you throw it away? And she showed me that, so there we go. MeWe, where are the folks at on not lime green, Arlene? Thank you, Liz. I can afford to get the blazer though, I promise you. It's just a matter of if I'm gonna wear it or not. If I wear this thing, I can never run for town council president or anything. It would automatically disqualify me. This thing's horrible. The MeWe folks, anybody MeWe that is in here, I know there's a few, I've seen them. Liz, you don't have to do that. Ma'am, I appreciate it, but you don't have to do that, okay? Thank you very much. Now I feel like I have to get the lime green blazer. Liz. Yes, okay. So MeWe, they have been talking about the White House spokesperson. And we did a video on this week admitting that the White House has been working with Facebook. Isn't that just great? I read the comments after the video, but I would love to see it in live chat, folks. What are your thoughts on the White House telling Facebook what to censor and what to show the American people? True American Loretta's like, MeWe. Axel Bro. Homestead Homeboy, isn't it though? Isn't that ridiculous? Not only do we have to put up with a squatter-in-chief and his cabinet, which is woefully unprepared for the jobs that they have, but now they are electing to show us what they want us to see and what they don't want us to see. Tomorrow, I totally agree. Where does it stop? That's the problem, you know? They said it's misinformation. Who are they to judge? Who are they to judge what's misinformation and what isn't? That's like the foundation of freedom of speech. And will it stop here? Will it continue? Has it been going on probably on other social media networks? Not to point anyone out, you know, with the play button or anything. And we're on one right now. It is 1984. Very good, Greg. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're living it. When I saw the report, and again, they've been talking about it on MeWe a lot, but when I saw that report, I couldn't believe it, because this is what happens in China, literally. You know, they vet everything before the Chinese people get to see it. You know, everything from websites to video games to news outlets. For the longest time, I've laughed at China because they have a state-run media. You know, they're in control of all of the information. And now here we come to find out, well, so is the United States. It's ridiculous. Somebody said it was illegal, and that's exactly right. Hide your Bibles, I spy. You're not wrong there. I mean, it's just a matter of time. People say, well, we're crazy or we're pushing fear, right? But that's what they said a year ago with all of the stuff that's happening now, and it's happening now right before our eyes, you know? Sarah Jean, that's a very good point. She said, so many Cubans telling us to wake up. Exactly. I'm rooting for them. I hope they get their freedom. And where's BLM and everything? Where are all of the pro-activists? They're not cheering the Cubans on. Don't you find that weird? Thank you for that, Susan. I'm trying, and I'm not the only channel. You know what I mean? But our days are probably numbered. You know, pretty soon we're going to be replaced with those robot mannequin-looking things. Hopefully they don't lose their blazers, and they'll be sitting in a chair and they'll be telling you exactly what you need to know, and that's it. Is monkeypox next? Lisa, normally I would just laugh it off and say it's a joke, but it's 2021. After the past 2 years, there's no telling, you know, if they spin this monkeypox off into the zombie apocalypse or a different variant. Who knows anymore? You know, just prepare for that the same way you would prepare for anything else, food shortage, etc. I think if you're prepared for, John, we're going to get into that in a minute, actually. If you're prepared for another round of lockdowns, which is highly likely at this point, you're going to be prepared for most anything. So Telegram folks, any Telegram folks in here? Yeah, Wine Sipper, I saw that. She's ridiculous. She always has been. Jason, we're going to get into that, but I think in order for it to be looked at as legal, I think it's legal now with the tyranny that's going on. But for most of America to accept that, I think it's going to have to be a high-ranking politician that eventually calls for it. And I think that's coming. The Telegram folks, somebody posted a picture of animal stool, and they spent an entire afternoon trying to identify the animal stool. Personally, I think it is deer stool, but it must have been a heck of a deer, son, because it was a huge pile. Big Red knows what I'm talking about. Honey badger. Who knows, Forrest? They probably are. Who knows? I don't know. Punching their little time cards and then sitting in on everybody's streams here in the community. But yeah, they were talking about stool, and they were also talking about how America is becoming a place now where you will own nothing and be happy. And that's what they were talking about. You know, these social programs where you pay taxes, you get what you get in the mail or the bread line, and you shut your mouth. It's scat. I call it stool, you know. Scat just sounds nasty. Red Tyrant Hunter, I'm not going to disagree with that. But I think historically, there's got to be, like I was saying, a very high-ranking politician or two call for secession or, you know, outright 1776, and then it's time to make a decision. and you're stuck with it once you make that decision one way or the other. So here we go. Y'all feel free to add to this stuff. These are questions from Patreon, and I'm going to try and answer them the best I can. But again, you folks can add whatever you would like. This comes from Nikolai. Very, very relevant here. He asks, how do we fight back instead of just holding the line? Very good question. I think you start by voting. You start by trying to change it at the polls and to try and use the rules that are already in place. When that doesn't work, then you get into capitalism. What is capitalism? In capitalism, cash is king. So we were talking earlier about how some of the wealthy in the United States, they don't want to lose their wealth. The Warren Buffett types, they don't want to lose their money. Cash is king. And what we need to understand is, if we're not being listened to at the polls for whatever reason, I don't want to get flagged. You guys know what I'm talking about. Tomorrow, I'm not going to disagree with that at all. I just can't say it here live. Then you get into, we call it hitting them in the pocketbook, but your money is king. If you keep most of your money in banks, just sitting there for the banks to do whatever with, nothing will ever change. They'll continue to get rich. You'll continue to eat cake, as they say, okay? So pull money out of banks and then spend it on conservative-based companies. I just read this week that, who is it? Heinz and somebody that merged with the Heinz company, I forget. Their money is running out and they don't know what to do. They went woke. The NFL, we were just talking about them this morning. The NFL is a ratings dumpster fire. They're losing money hand over fist. They're doubling down on the fact that they're a woke organization. People with money have just went elsewhere. Black Rifle, I fear, is about to find this out. So where you spend your money, Kraft, thank you very much, Daniel. I couldn't remember. I knew it was Heinz and somebody. Scotty, I'm right there with you. Where you spend your money matters. And you have to make that decision and you have to commit to it, okay? And I know this sounds weird because I do buy some things on Amazon and they're totally liberal, okay? They are. But outside of that, I really do try and pay cash. And you'll hear me talking about China Mart, okay? But I go to other stores first. I go to like the Tractor Supplies and the Rural Kings and things first and try and find what I'm looking for. And then I'm left really with no choice but Walmart, Target, or Amazon. Coke is in the same boat, exactly, Scott. They went broke, punish them. You know, don't just say F Coke, stop buying Coke products. That's how you change things. And then unfortunately, if we can't get enough people behind that movement, like we were talking about earlier, people are not going to be unrepresented forever. You know, it kind of feels like it did leading up to the first Civil War. No representation. Or like it did up until the first 1776. No representation in England. At some point, people are going to get sick of their representatives not listening to them. And politicians are sleazy, but listen, politicians are very smart when it comes to getting power. And they're going to realize, you know, they're going to become populists. They're going to start listening to the people in order to line their own pockets. And I think that we're headed, me personally, for a point where politicians, it could be Abbott in Texas, could be DeSantis, it could be Trump, at some point to say we need to secede from the union. And when that state tries to do it, they're not going to be alone. Other states are going to pile on. And then you're going to be left with a choice as an American. You know, do you pile on with them and go? Or do you stay a part of the United States? Because I promise you, war will ensue at that point. The United States is not going to let states walk away. There's too much revenue to be lost. That's what these people care about. Power and money. Scotty said the Secret Service tracks cash. They do to a degree. You don't want to go in and spend $2,000 on freedom seeds, okay? Because questions are going to be asked at that point. You got to do it in small increments, you know? And that may not help completely, but it will help keep some of the people off your back. Jim Survival says, buy silver and gold with your money. I would, you know, keep enough money out to pay your bills and then consider investing in precious metals. United we are not. Oklahoma, we have not been united for a very, very long time. This country is like two spouses that cannot stand each other, have absolutely nothing in common, do not want to live together, but the husband doesn't want to leave and the wife doesn't want to leave because they know when I leave, there's going to be a whirlwind of violence. But at some point, if something doesn't change, one of the spouses is going to leave. And I do believe it's going to be in and around the area of Texas, but don't count Florida out. Florida is going ultra conservative here as of late. So anyway, Nikolai, that was an awesome question, brother. And I had no idea I was pulling that off first, okay? Mojo, is Mojo in the house? Mojo over on Patreon wanted to talk about the recent political losses in Georgia. The GOP has won 2 runoff elections, and they are now planning to run major commercial time during the World Series. Mojo, I would love to think it was going to help, but I'm not a huge fan of elections after, you know, the past presidential. I know people have varying ideas on that. I feel like the system failed us. And that's, you know, that's just personal opinion on my part. I'm not trying to spread any, you know, misinformation. I just feel like the election failed us. So I don't know, you know, them buying commercial time and stuff during the World Series is great, but I think the GOP is still playing politics like it's 1980, and they think radio time and they think TV time is going to help, and really it's social media. You know, if voting is fair, then social media is how you reach people, and the GOP is set on it for too long now. They're silenced on social media. And so they're going to have a hard time doing anything. Even though they won 2 runoff elections, they're going to have a tough time unless they buckle down and actually do some stuff. Yeah, I know it, Forrest. They got me, huh? Sharon says, I don't think we will make it to another election. We may not. We may not. I mean, there are events going on all around the world, but the trigger event for me here in the United States is California, the Bay Area. They're starting their mandates back. California is talking about enforcing the strict mandates again and possibly locking back down. And I don't see Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, etc. I don't see them going back into lockdowns. I think they would refuse them outright. And there would be other states too, but I think that would be when they, you know, did this to the feds. Low budget builder. I don't do California politics, Tennessee tactical. I agree, and I just hope the people leaving California, because they're leaving en masse, I hope they leave their politics there, wherever they're going, here or anywhere else. We have people here in North Carolina that are moving from the West Coast and New York also. But the handful that I've met so far, you know, run into them in the store, you can tell their accent's totally different. And I'm real reserved in line. I'm just sitting here like this, son. I ain't talking to nobody. But my wife is the social butterfly, and she'll strike up a conversation with them. And they're really nice people, you know. They seem like it anyway. They seem like they were just hired of the nonsense. So hopefully they leave it there. There you go, Joanne. She said she left it fully behind her. All right, Mame's Legacy asked, and I had to take a lot of time on this one, Mames. You're welcome. And this is something I am going to need folks to weigh in on as well. She said, what is some of the over-the-counter stuff that you would recommend prepping as like a secondary or an emergency medicine, if you will, during SHTF? Maybe some of the old-time remedies and stuff. Hold on just a second here. Don Bellamy, thank you very much. Check out prepping.com when you get a chance. Your channel is a featured channel there. Thank you for that, Don. I had no idea. When I get done with the live, I always go through and I reread the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I will write it down at that time and go check it out. Thank you, brother. I had no idea. So I wrote down what I could think of, Mames, and I am sure that I missed a bunch here. So you folks fill in the blanks if you don't mind. I'm old, but there, you know, there's some stuff like snake oil and witch hazel and stuff. I'm 44, son. So I got Tylenol. I put Vapor Rub. Vapor Rub is something a lot of people don't really think to prep, and we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 containers in a medicine cabinet. Vitamins. I would prep heavy on vitamins, especially B, C, and D. Rock and Rye that you can get from your liquor store. There's a liquor called Rock and Rye, and you can mix this stuff with a little bit of honey, and I've done this several times. It will knock a cold straight out of you. Next day or two, it's over, for me at least. Toothache medicine. Anybody ever had a toothache? The last one I had, you know, it's just a good thing I didn't have a firearm with me at that time because it was rough, son. I cannot imagine trying to bug out with a toothache or being locked down. So fish antibiotics, very good. Toothache medicine, you want to have some of that stocked up. Whiskey. Whiskey used to be, believe it or not, prescribed back in the day. They would use it for many different things. Pepto-Bismol, as Mames pointed out, my stomach is feeling a little better, Mames. It is. I think just had to adjust. I ain't getting graphic, just had to adjust. Horse liniment. Horse liniment, folks, my back was out a while back, and the wait to get into the chiropractor was unreal. It was almost 3 months. And somebody emailed and said, try horse liniment. And I went to Tractor Supply, picked it up. It was like 15 bucks, I think. World of difference. It actually got me through the back pain and everything. It got me through until I got into the chiropractor. CBD oil, which I've not been on very long, so I can't speak too much about CBD oil. But so far, because I have, they say, severe anxiety. I call it, borderline ODing on coffee, son. But at night, I'm real jittery when I lay down, and the CBD oil has helped me out substantially to the point where I don't even have to take anxiety medicine anymore. Diet is everything. That's a very good point, Five Virgins. Emergency. This stuff comes in packets. You can get it in the pharmacy. I think it's in the pharmacy, maybe in grocery in some places. It's just a packet that you mix in. It tastes kind of like Tang, but this stuff is incredible for knocking a cold out and shortening the length of time that you have, like the flu or a cold or something. So there's that. Vodka, Tamara said vodka, that's an awesome one as well. Peppermint. A lot of people sleep on peppermint, but peppermint has its uses. It'll soothe the tummy. I told my wife last night, I'm like, man, my gut's jacked up. And, we have peppermint tea. Again, with the tea, I don't know what's up with that woman with her tea, but it really did help. Selling Prepper Dark Secrets, thank you. How you doing, brother? So peppermint tea will soothe the tummy. And let me see here, turmeric. Turmeric is really good, I believe, for arthritis. It may have other uses as well, but I think it's really good for arthritis in a pinch. And finally, the last one I have written down here is garlic. Garlic is good for blood pressure, and they do make it in pill form. So that's just some stuff you can consider prepping if you can afford it or if you catch it on sale. Pat Dye says pot works good too. Well, you're going to have a few fans in chat, I can promise you, Pat. It's not really my thing, but look, I'm going to tell y'all straight up. Number one, I don't judge. Number two, if you ever see Caveman James, he probably reeks of it. He is a huge connoisseur. Apparently, it is legal up in Virginia now, so he don't have a problem telling you, son. Iodine, that is a good one. T-Hell. Essential oils. Citrus pepper, I've heard that. I don't really know what you would use it for other than like one of those misters. What are they called? Like the vaporizer things? Greg says, everything is better with a bag of weed. Well, we're riding in the ditch now. Jacqueline, I actually did not know that turmeric was good for the back, or I would have tried it. Peroxide, yeah, peroxide and alcohol, that you folks should already have that stocked up, at least a couple of each. Dollar Tree, you pick it up there usually. Really, Micah, thank you, man. I had no idea. And 308 thumbs up, wow. So half of y'all like the video at least. I appreciate that. Aspirin, very good, Liz. Yeah, your aspirin, when Tylenol, ibuprofen, I don't know. My wife handles all of this. She knows we have, I may actually go through it for tomorrow morning's video. That would be great. She has this overflow rack and we just pull it out. It's like an old milk crate or whatever. And it has all this stuff in it. She just buys it up. Tomato is bad for arthritis. I did not know that, low budget. Chance, weed is a cure-all. I knew there were going to be some fans of that comment in here. What brand of CBD? I think she got it. My wife got some to try at Walgreens, I think. I don't even know the brand. But you can pick it up almost anywhere now, here where I'm at. Elderberry. Robin, I know what you're talking about. We have elderberry juice here. And I see it all over the place. And I did not know what it was actually used for. Thank you for that. Dylan Paul, what's up, brother? All right, Corey over on Patreon asks, good question. Loved ones. What do you do about loved ones that are clinging to liberal ideas? Corey, I wish I knew, because I have a few. There's really no fix for this, Corey. I mean, look, I would, and I have, approached family and said, look at life 20 years ago, compare it to life now. Which one is better? You know, back when the world, you know, pre 9/11 actually made a little sense. Wasn't perfect, okay, but it did kind of make sense. People knew which bathroom to use, okay? I mean, there was some nonsense going on, but nothing on the level that we see today. And compare it to 2021. And if they make that comparison and they actually think that it's better in 2021, there's really not a lot you can do for them at that point, you know? Unplug their TV maybe, because they're probably listening to Don Lemon. I miss the 80s. T-hell, I do too. And here's the thing, it wasn't perfect in the 80s, but man, it was fun. We didn't have all this nonsense. People lined up every 4 years, they voted, and then nobody gave a crap after that. They just went back to normal life. You know, there was no living in fear of lockdowns. There was no living in fear of people going to knock on your door, son, with suitcases. There was no real shortages that I can remember anyway. I remember drinking, what did I used to drink, son? Tab? Was Tab a thing back in the 80s? I used to drink a lot of that, and the New Coke. And the Pepsi Clear, I drank that for a while. I think that was the 90s, though. But, I mean, Corey, brother, other than that, I actually have no advice on that. Put them in front of Don Lemon for an hour, and then just ask them to be objective and watch Tucker Carlson for an hour. And if Don Lemon makes more sense and speaks to their heart in a way that Tucker Carlson can't, you really can't save that person at that point. I mean, you just can't. Jolt Cola, yep. USA prepping, that probably has something to do with my anxiety now. Domestic Gangster, how you doing? Another incredible channel here on YouTube. How you doing, Sophia? Have you been on any shopping hauls? That woman's a thrifty shopper, I'll tell you what. RC Cola, we still have that here and there. Tang. Russell the Muscle, if you're into Tang, if you like it. Oxen Farms, they make an orange drink. I don't remember the name right off, but it tastes just like Tang. Jarhead Preparedness says the U.S. has sent dozens of F-22 fighters to the Pacific, and China has warned the U.S. and Taiwan don't play with fire. Right now, saber rattling. But it's only going to take one idiot to set that firestorm off. And you have to ask yourself, if you're the United States, is that really a fight that you want to fight? And this is nothing, I'm not anti-military, I'm pro-military, folks. But I'm talking about the economy is literally in the gutter. We have shortages of stuff all over the place, from food to freedom seeds to fuel. I would say that we are a divided nation. And I don't think that a war with China is going to repair any of that. It's going to make it 1,000 times worse. And it may not be a winnable war, because now we're talking about a supply line that wraps halfway around the world and trying to defeat the most populated nation on the planet. I get that Taiwan wants to be independent of China, but is this something that the United States really wants to get dragged into? Spencer says there's no getting out of war with China. Well, the only thing that I would say that would disagree with that would be is if China can take us over without boots on the ground. And so far, I would argue they're doing an excellent job. They would love to take us over without spending one cartridge, you know? And they're trying to do it by buying things up. They're trying to do it through our politicians, etc. Let's see here. Jeff, thank you very much. Pasture versus mountain bug out, off-grid location. Security versus crops. I think you're asking which I would prefer. I wouldn't prefer to bug out at all. Is a last resort. But when I go, I'm looking, the first thing I'm thinking about at a bug out location is water. You know, is there fresh water nearby? And then I'm looking for any kind of, coverage, tree coverage and stuff like that. Because the idea at that point is if you have to go into the woods or you have to bug out into a situation like that, you don't want to be found, right? You're trying to stay out of Dodge. So you want to go to a place where it's going to be really hard to find you, but water is going to be, to me, the number one concern. So I'm looking at both of those. But let me see here. For me, that's the off-grid deal. And then from there, I'm thinking about food, and then I'm thinking about, shelter and having the things you would need. But if it's me, I'm trying to bunker in. I really am, because, and it may be where I have 2 kids, but I'm not trying to drag my kids out into the woods to bug out if I can possibly help it. They love to camp for a couple of days, and then they're like, Daddy, I need My cell phone, I miss my cell phone. Daddy, I'm cold. Daddy this, that, daddy that. Great kids, but you don't want to take kids especially into a situation like that. You'd rather them be at home where they have their own rooms, even if the grid's down. They still have their own beds, uh, things like that, the comforts of home. And you just can't take it all with you. Bug out to a gentleman's club. Rustle the muscle. Oh, God. Mark Hackett, that is Augustin Farms. Augustin Farms on Amazon. They're on Amazon. They have their own website, but I think Amazon was having the sale. My wife, check this out. Let me get this real quick, guys. Patrons already know about this, but I caught her red-handed. She got some powdered milk from Augustin Farms, and she's been using Rudy's code. I feel like she's cheating on me, son. She was going to get it. Let me tell you how it goes down now. She was going to get it because she knows I'm normally busy when the mail runs, and she was just going to put it up so I didn't see it. And I happened to be in the living room, and dude knocks on the door. I'm like, oh, what's this? From Amazon. I shake it, and I'm like, that sounds like an Augustin Farms can. So I opened it up, and my only complaint was you didn't get chocolate. They have chocolate milk, and they have, just straight up milk, but this is nearly 6 gallons worth. And it expires somewhere. Oh my gosh. There we go. Has a 25-year shelf life. So powdered milk for 25 years. And she was like, it was only 16 bucks or something. So I'm like, just, order whatever you want. Just get chocolate milk next time. So we got a couple more to go through, and then I won't hold you up anymore. I promise. Sharon, yeah. They have chocolate milk also. And again, they have Tang. It's called orange something, but it's Tang. Sharon over on Patreon wanted to know if I could talk about the mandates for employment. She has seen this in her area and what to do about it. Sharon, unfortunately, Orange Delight. Thank you, Jamie. It's Orange Delight, which is slang for Tang. There's not a lot you can do about it. I don't want to shatter your dreams there, Sharon, but it's already been through the court system. The court has deemed that employers have a right to take your job away if you don't take the knee. The only thing you can do is plan out a different lifestyle. Somebody, I think it was on Facebook, somebody posted a meme earlier, and they were talking about driver's licenses being taken if you don't take a knee. And there's some kind of a meme where people are in a covered wagon going to town. You have to play outside the rules. You have to plan. It's going to be a huge life change and a shock to a lot of people. And they know this. That's why they're doing it. They're trying to bully you into it. So it's not for me to say, it's to each their own. If getting back to normal life is worth it for you and you want to take the knee, I'm not going to judge you. It's not my place. But at the same time, if you choose to hold out, again, that's totally up to you. I'm going to be holding out. But hey, Hater. This is the last one, folks, I promise. Hater says, how do we stop the tide of globalism? Good, right? How do you stop globalism? Globalism is not a new concept. It is a fantasy that many people have had. There was a mustached man back during World War II in Europe that had the idea of globalism. He wanted to take over the entire world. Napoleon, same deal. Caesar. The thing is, you cannot control the entire world at one time. because logistically, you just can't do it. You cannot be everywhere at one time. You cannot force people to live the way you want them to live globally. So it's going to stop itself. Look at the supply line right now, the global supply line. It's not a hiccup, it's a complete breakdown, what we're seeing right now. There are not enough uniforms to enforce a globalist agenda. They're going to continue to push the idea, and it's going to continue to fail until we finally get to the end of times. Now, biblically, are we at the end of times? I don't know. That's not for me to know. I know I'm covered there, but I'm still going to resist it at every turn, you know, unless the Bible says otherwise. I haven't read it, you know, where it has said otherwise, like don't resist, just sit down and take it, son. I'm not going to be sitting down and taking it. But I think they're going to push it. They're going to get close this time, but it's not going to work. Either governments are going to start running out of money, or they're going to start running out of manpower, as in policing, and people are just going to do what they're going to do. I'll equate it to the British, okay, before the revolution, before 1776. The king, this was his colony. The king had his soldiers over here. His soldiers are like, son, you're going to do this. But the moment the soldier turns his back, you know, the patriots are doing whatever they want to do because they realize the soldier can't be everywhere at once. I used to play football, okay? Coach would be like, y'all run, do laps, son, do laps. As soon as the coach turned his back, we were walking. I ain't gonna lie to you. We see him turning back around, we're running again. This is how it would work here in the United States. They can push whatever they want to, but as soon as the man has his back turned, we're gonna be free to some degree anyway. But that's just East Kentucky. I'm not living on my knees either, I promise you. That's a great comment. I spy, yes, indeed. But until then, I'm going to resist at every turn. So do you folks have anything else? I've ran over tonight. I am sorry. I've ran over. Yeah, Brian Keith, I agree. I mean, when that time comes, there's not a lot we can do about that because biblically it's already set. But we don't have to like it, and we don't have to go down without swinging, you know? That's my take on it anyway. Rage Against the Machine, I've read that in several states. They seem to be targeting lower income neighborhoods. Isn't that lovely? They always go after the low income nations and the low income neighborhoods like those people don't matter. Muzzle flash, no. That's a goodbye, Frank Moses. Muzzle flash, is KFC better in Kentucky? I have no idea. I wish they would go back to calling it chicken, and you know, using chicken. I do wish that. I kind of got a little skeptical when I saw KFC. They switched it out. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on here. I do. Shotguns, machetes. I do. I've gotten a couple of attachments for it. I was looking for, I don't really know, like the undergrip, you know, I don't know if they just make a standard or like a bruiser style grip for it, if that makes sense. That's the only thing that I've not added to it that I'm gonna add to it. And Outlaw Prepper, for those that know Jack, he's already tried to get it off of me. He also has a 12 gauge, but he's got like a standard, just a jet black Remington, and he fell in love with mine. And I'm like, son, yours costs more money. Yeah, of course, hater, no problem, man. Conserve friends. If there's another lockdown, you're going to see a run on food like you've never seen in your life, because even the zombies have already been through that circus once before. They're going to know. They're going to know within reason what to look for. So you're going to have to beat them to the punch. Yeah, I mean, without question, there'll be a run on food. There'll be a run on over-the-counter medicine, gas, anything you can think of. They'll be running on it. Toilet paper, unfortunately, there'll be a run on that. I agree, Lee. He said now is the time to stock up on everything. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to break the bank. But as you can afford it, yeah, stock up. Buy two when you need one. And he said buy silver, and that's always a good investment. River Rat, you are correct. Total emptying of all stores and gas. Look no further than South Africa if you want to know what it's going to look like. Because once it runs out, people are going to turn violent. You know, they're going to be mad. They laugh at preppers. They did this last time. They laugh at preppers. They laugh at us. And then when there's a run on everything and they can't find something, now all of a sudden they try and shame preppers. How dare you be prepared? And I'm over here sitting, I got nothing to eat. How dare you? They try and shame you, and they'll demonize you. It happens every time. Universal prepper, please stock up before they lock it down again. Little bit at a time. Again, domestic gangsters in the house. If you check her out, she can show you how to use coupons and stuff and save a lot of money. She has a great channel. She'll be spending like $1 and coming home with 20 bags of groceries or whatever. I don't know how she does it. All right, folks, so I appreciate you being here. We will go live again next week. I'll try to do it out on the front deck next week. We'll see. See if I can get Miss Nation out there to kind of commentate in the background or whatever. Especially if I found out she stole my blazer and threw it away. But I appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to shoot a video here shortly. I may actually do it in front of the preps and go over the medical stuff. Some of the medical stuff we have for the video in the morning. But I appreciate y'all being here, and y'all have a blessed night, okay?